Hi, this is King of Review. Find the x-intercepts of the quadratic function below. Y equals negative x squared plus 4x plus 5. So this question asks for the x-intercepts of our function here. Let's think about this. If we have a coordinate plane here, we have our x-axis and our y-axis. Now, if we plot a graph on this, let's say we're going to plot a line. So if we plot a line like this, our x-intercept is this point here. The x-intercept is where the graph crosses or touches the x-axis. Now, what do you know about the coordinate of this point, which is the x-intercept? It will have some value for x. But what will the y-coordinate be? Well, because it's right here on the x-axis, our y-coordinate will be 0. So any x-intercept will have a y-coordinate of 0. The y-coordinate of an x-intercept is 0 because when a graph touches the x-axis, the y value of that point is 0. So we know that to find the x-intercept, we can set y equal to 0 right here. So let's do that. We have 0 equals negative x squared plus 4x plus 5. And we set y equal to 0 because our x-intercept will have a y-coordinate of 0. Now let's solve for x. We can do that by factoring this right-hand side. So when we factor, we get 0 equals negative x plus 5 times x plus 1. And one method for doing this is using the box method for factoring. So I'll put my x squared term here, so negative x squared, that's this term. And then I'll put my constant term, which is 5, down here. What two terms multiply together to give negative x squared? Well, negative x and x multiply together to give negative x squared. And what two terms multiply together to give 5? Well, 5 and 1. When you multiply those together, you get 5. So now let's fill out the remainder of our box. 1 times negative x gives negative 1x, and x times 5 gives 5x. If you add up these two boxes, negative 1x plus 5x, you get the 4x here. So that's how I factored. I got 0 equals negative x plus 5 times x plus 1. Now to solve this, we'll use a property called the zero product property. If we have two numbers, let's call them a and b, and we multiply them together to get 0, this means that either a or b must have been 0 in order to get 0 for the answer. So we could have had a times 0 to give 0, or we could have had 0 times b give 0. Now applying this to our problem, if I set either of these two terms equal to 0, I'll get 0 for the answer here. So let's do that. Let's set each of these terms equal to 0 and solve for x. Negative x plus 5 equals 0, and x plus 1 equals 0. So we'll subtract a 5 on both sides. This gives us negative x equals negative 5. Now negative x is the same thing as negative 1 times x. So to get x by itself, I'll divide by a negative 1 on both sides. This gives me x equals 5. So we know that the x-intercept, one of them, is at x equals 5. And now for this term, I'll subtract a 1 on both sides, and I'm left with x equals negative 1. So we have two x-intercepts here, one at 5 and another at negative 1. Now let's picture this. If we were to graph this equation here, y equals negative x squared plus 4x plus 5, if you graph it, it will look something like this. So where are the x-intercepts? Well, we have two. There's one right here and one right here. And we've already solved for these x values. So we have one at -1, 0, and we have one at 5, 0. So it has two x-intercepts. So letter A is correct. X equals -1 and 5. Thanks for watching.